how do we keep getting some of the dumbest people ever, the most ridiculous clowns ever, running for office? And people get a lot of support too. I mean, this is nonsense. Well, I ain't supposed to do that. Hang on. Twitter's acting crazy, by the way.
Behind. We cannot afford to leave Tennessee behind. We cannot afford to leave Kentucky behind, Alabama behind, Mississippi behind, Georgia behind, South Carolina behind.
Oh, that sounded violent. Anyway, what was that? I'll tell you what that reminds me of. And I'll say this in a way I hope will keep me out of trouble. Louis C.K., which I know controversial, he had some bit in like a comedy, which he used to do this a lot more. He's probably got to be more careful now that his whole reputation is in the toilet. But he would go into these accents and he would say they were something else to kind of cover for them, make you feel like you're the one being racist. He acted like it's a Chinese accent or something like that. He's clearly not a Chinese accent. It was an American accent, predominantly of a certain color that was not his own. And that's what's going on right here. And she's been doing these word salads too, that are just Kamala Harris level gibberish. Let's see if we can't get some of this.
Focused on those legislative.
What do you make of those controversial statements? I'm sure you've seen. I mean, she's, the Thanksgiving dust up. She says she doesn't, still believe that, but, the abolish prisons, abolish police, which is also positions that have been taken by a lot of the progressive candidates who have won.
I thought in her
How do you
head.
get around that?
Yeah.
Those are not positions that are supported by.
Right. I mean, I think that a lot of these races, even right now, they'll have a tendency to be nationalized.
Yeah.
But these races ultimately are local, and all politics are local. My understanding is that Francesca Hong has made clear her present stances to her electorate.
Yeah, she's moved away from a lot
Right,
of that.
she's moved away from it. And I have a local city councilman that has this saying, woke one was crazy.
Woke one was crazy. Okay, that's
and I think that what's important is that we have to assess what
was it? I mean, did the
candidate is
movement go
saying
too
now.
far with some of those positions? I mean, you briefly supported the idea of defunding the police.
Well, I think that during this time, and especially during COVID, there was a huge opening of the Overton window. We were shut down. There was some of the highest unemployment rates that we have seen because of those shutdowns.
Yeah.
And I think that the doors were really open in trying to entertain any and every policy that was going to get us to a better place. And I actually think that the discussions that were had in that time were quite fruitful. I think that when we talk about crime today, it's fundamentally different than the way that we talked about crime in bringing crime down, right? And I think that we all share in the goals of having as low a crime rate as possible. I think that, during lockdown, of course, rhetoric in that time is not rhetoric that we would use today. And I'm grateful that these candidates have the opportunity to present who they are to their electorate and what they're campaigning on in this moment.
The heck did I ask you again? You even remember what he said? See, it's not just being dumb. There's a word for that. It's called verbosity. It's running out the clock. It's like you could say something like, but we've seen you keeping the company of this other woman who's not your wife. And the guy responds, well, rumors are a thing that you know, you hear all kinds of rumors. Oh, you heard the rumors about Fred and Barney and you know, George Jefferson and George Jetson. And you know, rumors are a thing. There used to be a good song, I think, was about rumors, and you know, things like that happen. You know, and you're not going to really get sorry, bye. And that's what they're doing. Pretty soon, it just exhausts the person listening. You find yourself going, and you can't get violent. part of you is like, or at least you want to throw something, deliberately missing, but throw something like hard that just passes over one shoulder. So she'll be like, and then you can be like, can you answer the question? You're upsetting me. You're stressing me out. Can you please just answer the question? If you go off subject one more time, I'm going to look for something blunt right now. You take off a shoe and hold on to it. And that's not the only thing. She said something about the difference between communism and socialism is democracy. Huh? Now, see, if you're one of these people that's just completely against, you think that's all evil no matter what, you might not have a huge problem with that. But you got to be factually correct, even if it's about two subjects you don't like. You got to be factually correct. You know? What's the difference between the Green River Killer and the BTK Killer? Sandwiches. What? You can't do that. You can't do that. You have to be factually correct. That's two subjects that I don't like. But sandwiches is not the answer. AOC might think it's the right answer. I don't know what she thinks. I imagine if you opened up her head and you took an x-ray, it's just like a bunch of squirrels running around. Cockeyed squirrels that keep crashing into the walls. You can tell, here's the thing too, and this isn't just AOC, this is just, I know this is picking on her. There's a lot of times where you can watch some sort of interview with a politician, and the person's talking, and you can see the politician doing this, and occasionally smiling. They're not listening. They've got like a script. And they're going to go ahead and throw this next thing out. Because the questions are scripted too. So they got this script that they're going to say. And they're kind of improvise on it to make it look natural. But they have a script. He says this, I say this. He says this, I say this. There was one of George W. Bush years ago. This is back when I didn't despise him like I do now. And I was like, something's wrong with that man. This is somebody that didn't hate him at the time. It's some interview, and I think it's in the White House, and he looks extra pink in the face, and he's just got this little smile on his face the whole time. And that's not a big exaggeration. That's kind of, I'm seeing myself here. That's kind of the way he looked. And I'm like, this man's got something wrong with him. You can watch that muted and watch her just going. If I did that to you, you'd be like, you're not really listening to me, are you? What are you thinking about? We're not talking about anything that deserves a charming little smile. She's a beautiful woman, but a charming little smile. We don't need that. We need actual thoughts. She's gotten worse and worse. I know some people hated her from day one. I wanted to have confidence in her. I'm not going to pretend like I had no confidence in her. I had no hope. I had hope in a lot of them. I had hope in George W. Bush. I had hope in Barack Obama. A little bit, for a little while. But, you know, when I first heard her, I was reading things that she was saying, or was supposed to be for, and then I heard her voice, and I was like, oh no. This is the hero? And I'm not just making fun of her tone or voice. Certainly mine leaves something to be desired. But you can tell when somebody's not wrapped too tight. You know, they're not very intelligent. And these weird things, people forget these weird things that they did. And even Ilhan Omar, who's had a few good moments here and there. But that little weird protest thing where they're acting like they're handcuffed, I'm serious, that happened. That really happened. The cops came and got them, and they both did the we're going to the principal's office type of walk, where they're taking these long, kind of droopy steps and got their hands behind their back. And they're clearly not handcuffed. Got their head down and doing these kind of long, mournful steps. You can find that. And AOC screws it up because she has to raise a fist up like this. Oops. Pick your gaslighting, you know, and stick to it. You know, people worry about AI taking over. I guess it can do some harm. But there's certainly not real intelligence taking over, is there? Idiots. It's how we keep having idiots in charge. And you know they can't really be running things because they're too stupid to run things. This person is not intelligent. Trump is not intelligent. Biden was never intelligent. Forget about his brain being turned to pudding. He wasn't intelligent years ago. He was a big blowhard. He's like a type of guy you'd see at a bar or something like that run his mouth. Or like a car salesman. Had that toothy smile he would do. Idiot. Of course, George W. Bush had a IQ of a crushed possum. And people talked about Trump being intelligent. I mean, not Bill Clinton being intelligent. Not really. Hillary Clinton, not very intelligent. She can appear to be, I'll say that. She at least can fool you. Obama, yeah, intelligent. Not a good person. But among these, he's super intelligent. Not a good person. Pretty obvious liar, too. All that stuttering and stammering. But that's enough random ranting. I say watch out for sheepdogs, but watch out for whatever in the heck this is. I don't know, dodo birds? I don't know what you would call that. I hate to put an animal in that. I hate to call sheepdogs because the animal sheepdog is a great animal. I hate to shame another animal. You can't say retarded anymore, can you? We got to come up with something. Something that somebody's not going to say is some sort of weird discrimination. Sexism or racism or this or that. I'll come up with something. Protect your brains, y'all. This stuff will give you a headache. I don't know how to participate in it because you can't sit here and listen to that. I'm just listening to it muted, and it's making me nauseous looking at her weird, not even acknowledging that you know. It's weird. Weird.
These races ultimately are local as possible to win.
Look at these facial expressions. I mean, why do they even put the camera on her? Look at this. She's not even really responding. Lord help us.